Good afternoon, Zimbabwe. My name is Samantha Munetsi. I'm the International Peace Youth Group Zimbabwe representative. And yes, I'm here today on behalf of IPYG.
Good afternoon, Zimbabwe. My name is Yolanda, ndlovu. I'm the
Thank you, guys. Samantha,
Yes.
can you tell us what is IPYG?
Sure. IPYG stands for International Peace Youth Group. So in order to leave peace as a lasting legacy for the future generations in this era, where injustice and unwanted conflicts constantly occur, continuous and persistent efforts should take place instead of temporary agreements or activities, and ultimately the people living in this world should have the mind of peace. So International Peace Youth Group gathers the youth, the tomorrow's decision makers of the world, as one to let them raise their voice for the future they want, regardless of race, border, religion, and ideology. So you may ask, when was it established? It was established in 2012, June, in South Korea, by a group of volunteers that were really passionate for peace, and they got together and established what we now have as International Peace Youth Group. It was first there, then yes, by each country joining each and every year, thousands of countries actually. It has indeed become a very successful organization in achieving world peace.
Okay, that was very elaborate. Thank you very much. Can you tell us what is the mandate for the vision and the mission that IPYG has?
Well, we are living in a world full of unwanted conflict and violence, and youth are greatly affected without having a say in the decision-making process. However, we, the IPYG, believe that youth are the ones who will be leading the future of the world. That's the IPYG was established to empower the youth to have the voice so that youth can not only protect themselves from such world, but also further pioneer the culture of peace and leave peace as an inheritance to future generations. So, for example, there is a goal that we have currently, which is the advocating of the international law of peace called the DPCW. So this stands for Declaration of Peace and Cessation of War. It constitutes of 10 articles and 38 clauses that are a very effective tool and instrument to achieve world peace. So it was constructed by legal experts from 15 different countries, and they are called the International Peace Committee. So we are very, very excited to advocate for its implementation. We need the UN to allow us to adopt it, and that's why each and every country is working very hard to advocate for the DPCW. Well, our main goal, like I mentioned before, is the adoption of the DPCW, because this is the material that we have to achieve world peace. So, like I said, it constitutes of 10 articles. So each year we can choose which articles we focus on. For example, Article 10 states that we have to spread a culture of peace. So we have different activities that we have embarked on to spread a culture of peace. For example, last year, we had our first Peace Begins With You event at the American Embassy in Harare, and there we discussed with the different youth organizations different ways that we can implement peace in our direct environments, and why is there conflict, and what are the things that we can do together as one, not individually, to actually achieve peace in our direct environments. So it's built of many things, like having cleanup campaigns that create a culture of peace, peace education, seminars, enlisting schools, different sectors of society to ensure that we really make a difference. And then furthermore, we annually have a commemoration for the 5 to 5 Peace Walk. So that's something that we also did. Last year we had it in Belgravia. So initially the Peace Walk started because in 2013 there was the declaration of the international law, the Declaration of World Peace. So every other year after that, that's when we commemorate the Declaration of Peace. So the last date was the 4th annual commemoration for the Declaration of World Peace. And this year we are preparing together with other NGOs, the likes of JCI and ZUNA, Zimbabwe United Nations Association, we're preparing for the 5 to 5 peace walk that we're going to have on Africa Day. So we're hoping that a lot of young adults and actually everyone and anyone is welcome, regardless of where you come from, ethnicity, race, anyone. As long as you're a peace passionate person, you're welcome to come join the peace walk. Like I mentioned, that it's an annual commemoration for the declaration of world peace. So the aim behind the peace walk is solely to unite all youth across the whole world in achieving a common goal. For example, it's not all the time when you walk for peace. We walk for many reasons. So you want to have youth from different sectors coming together, regardless of race or religion, coming together as one under that whole goal of achieving world peace. So for example, for the 5 to 5, I'm sure you're wondering why 5 to 5? Like, what does that mean? The first 5 represents the action that I have to take. And then 2 is a verb to represent the direction that I'm taking that action. So peace is not something that I have to just, as long as I'm fine, then I'm fine. I don't need to worry about other people. But it's the action that I have to take towards someone to ensure that they also are more active and more alive in that work of peace. So it's 5 to 5. The other 5 is the other person that is affected by the action of peace that you've taken. So it's a way of bringing people together to ensure that we have a society that we really want, a society rooted on peace and virtue.
In regards to media and working with the IPYG, media has been actually playing a very big role. We have actually worked with the state media, and it has been very helpful in helping us trying to be the voice of peace. It's unfortunate that many people don't watch ZBC, and therefore the reach is sometimes not as much as we would like to have it. So in that instance, the state media ZBC has actually been helpful. But also we've been working with various journalists trying to see what we can do in terms of reporting on peace. Generally, this work that we're doing is like the work of reversal. We are not inclined to generally report on peace. We're inclined to report on conflict, on war, on political violence. So generally, what we're doing is trying to instill that mindset of peace that Samantha has been talking about, that instill that mindset of peace so that people can start acting on peace, start actively reporting about issues of peace. So working with the youth, we have generally received good feedback, and it's just on the implementation side now. People are ready to start working on peace. We just need to find ways and strategies on how we can really implement in such situations, because media in Zimbabwe, as well as journalists, we've been working with flash journalists, but they face various challenges like lack of resources in trying to report on peace issues. So that's on the part of media.
Right, well, IPYG is a non-partisan organization, which means that we are not in favor of one particular political party, and we are working solely for the good of humanity. So what we have is an international law. That is our focus. So most laws that we have, we usually focus on governing a particular state, but we haven't really had a solid international law that can really enforce peace for each and every state. So rather than just dealing with problems on a temporary basis, because I'm sure political violence is not the first time it's happened in history, whether it's Zimbabwe or any other nation, we're looking at really solving the problem of conflict from the grassroots level, which is understanding what is the cause of war. So you understand that 80% of war is caused by religious conflict, and because of that, we now have to find a way of solving that conflict. So that is why there is the international law that we're advocating for, which is the DPCW, Declaration of Peace, Cessation of War. Those 10 articles, 38 clauses, have really comprehensive ways in which people can really achieve peace, not just politically, but in every way, whether it's religion, whether it's peace of mind, whether any way and every way. So that is why we are really advocating for its adoption by the UN, and that every state should adopt it, because it will really solve the problem, like not just like on a year, like we've solved the current problem for the country for this year, but it's advocating for a mindset change. Because the reason why we have war and any form of conflict regardless of whether it's political or not political, is because of the mindset that we have. So if we advocate for a mindset of peace and leave that as a lasting legacy for this generation and future generations, then that is really a work that is noble, and that is a work that I believe even the heavens will acknowledge. We have a website. It's IPYG.org, www.ipyg.org. You're welcome to go there and view all of the activities that are taking place. And most countries already have IPYG operating, so you can just find out from there as well. Where can you actually get physical contact